Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. I'm JSimLady and this is a Sims 4 speed build. This is a little house for my base game save file that I'm currently working on alongside my all packs save file. If there's any other save files that you'd like me to make, like say a family gameplay save file that only has like family related packs or like everyday realistic life packs, say like seasons plus cats and dogs plus growing together or something like that, I can also make a save file for something like that, so let me know down in the comments. I just need to know which are the most popular packs and what other people think of as family gameplay style, I guess. I would see like cottage living, cats and dogs, seasons, growing together, and maybe a few of the stuff and game packs as being family oriented, real life sort of stuff. But what I see and feel in those areas are different than what others might. So you let me know down in the comments. So my vision for these little houses over here, this is that area in Newcrest that's kind of at the top of the map when you go to the map screen. And it's the two little houses, the Comfy Cubby and the, is it Oak Alcove? I think the other one is Oak Alcove. Anyways, my vision for these little houses right here is that they are kind of older and outdated, but they have younger Sims living in them because they are both going to be starter houses. And they have younger Sims living in them who in both lots will have like this dream of fixing up and expanding these little houses. That's the storyline for these two lots right here in Newcrest for my base game save file. This one is a sim who enjoys cooking, all things food, a foodie sim, and she or he or they will eventually love to expand the house upwards so that they can move the bedroom upwards and expand the kitchen and dining space into what is currently the bedroom space, which you'll see in a minute here. Everything about this house is meant to say this is a very old, maybe 1920s house that was meant as always to be a starter house, a small home for a single sim or a young couple who doesn't have kids. And it hasn't really been updated much. It's still got old siding on it from maybe the 40s or the 50s. The windows are pretty low set, and they're still that old wood tone that was popular at the time of updating the siding. The only thing that maybe got changed was that the siding was repainted to a darker, almost charcoal gray color. And that's kind of the idea behind this house, is just that it's kind of an older house that needs some updating, I guess. It's not really a rundown house. It's been kept up well. It just needs to be brought into the 21st century, and that's the sort of storyline behind the house for this save file. When I add the second house in, I plan on adding some other little details that I see in neighborhoods that have houses like this, like electrical, like power lines and stuff that run between houses and things like that, just to give it that little added touch. I couldn't add the power lines to this one because I don't know exactly where the second house is going to sit just yet. So once I get that second house built, then I'll be able to add the power lines and things like that to this little spot here in this neighborhood. And I did add that big fluffy garden in the front. There will be one in the back as well. Don't worry, it will match. I did change it up a little bit from the left side to the right side just to give it a little more, I don't know, depth, personality, I guess. I don't really know. But I feel like little old houses like this often have those bigger, fluffier, sort of rounded gardens like that, and then also around the mailbox as well. But I stayed with that same idea of a little old 1920s house with its sort of curved garden, but I used some different plants in the back so that it also gave it a little more personality back there as well. Anyways, so we are moving on, or we have moved on to the living room. And this is a starter house. Keep that in mind. It's meant for a fresh, brand new sim right out of CAS. Even though when I upload this save file, it will have my foodie sim in here, you can always get rid of that sim and put your own sim in here because it is a starter house. Also, I put all of my builds, even though they're 4 save files, I put them all up on the gallery anyways, and so I wanted you to be able to use it as a starter house for any sim. So it is under, I think it's under 18,000 simoleons. That way you can basically put any sim or couple in here that you deem appropriate for this lot yourself. I like to keep things as versatile as possible, especially since I do sometimes go back and change my mind and I get rid of lots in my save files and move lots around and stuff and change the stories if, like, when a new pack comes out and I have other stuff I can put in here, I might alter the storyline slightly. Like, maybe instead of this being a young foodie sim, it turns into a young plant lover sim, you know, like when we got Enchanted by Nature or whatever. And then the idea for things slightly change, and I in my mind I keep in mind that other things can be added by other people downloading, and so I change things up a little bit for the final save file. Also, especially being that this is a base game save file and build, sometimes we will, not very often, and there isn't a ton of stuff that comes out, but sometimes we will get new features, new objects, new things in the base game that I would like to go back and update some of my older save file builds with as well. And, it just, there is updating going on in the save file, is what I'm trying to say. And I like to keep things versatile for the purposes of potential updating in the future, if that makes sense. I initially started making this kind of a pink and blue house, but then I changed my mind at the end. I didn't really, I wasn't feeling the pink and blue alone, so I added some other colors in there. The kitchen is meant to kind of be green, but all I really had accessory wise was the rug, so it didn't really work out in my favor. The living room is blue, very much blue rather than neutral. The bedroom is pink, and the bathroom is yellow. I just wanted it to be fun and colorful. So, yeah, that's kind of the story and idea behind this lot and this sim. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I do plan on adding some, like, quote unquote neighborhood decoration type things to these 2 lots once I get the second house built. but I need to wait till that second house is built so that I kind of know where the placement is going to be and stuff, and how much space is between the two houses to add those sorts of things. But I'll be honest with you, one, I build for ultimate playability, and it if you use too much stuff, you risk your game. I've been mentioning this in nearly every video because it is one of the things that they are absolutely sure can cause problems in the game, as having every single lot decorated to the absolute max. So that's one of the ways you can cause lag in your game. You can cause save file issues in your game. So I primarily build for ultimate playability and ultimate accessibility as well, so that anybody can use any lot in any way they want. And that includes not using a ton of debug items, because debug items can be, well, buggy. For instance, sometimes with certain like plants and things, Sims will walk right through them as if they are not there, because the game sort of reads them as not really having a footprint at all. So, and that bothers me to no end. So, my builds are for ultimate playability and smooth gameplay and all that kind of stuff. So don't expect like a ton of debug objects, but there will be a few that tie these two smaller houses in to each other and the greater neighborhood around it, to give it that like really lived in, played neighborhood, if that makes sense. But yeah, we're just about done with the speed build, just adding some like texturing to the ground here, and then we can get into the walkthrough in 1 second here. Won't take long. There we go. Now we can get into the walkthrough. So here we are with the front. You can see those fluffy, overstuffed, round gardens there in the front. We've got a couple of planters here. I did make one smaller. Not sure how that's gonna work for your Sims, but if you have Enchanted by Nature, you can replace it with one of the smaller pots that come with that. So that was kind of the idea for that. Obviously, the living room and dining room are one room here, and you can kind of see that it is definitely an older home where they didn't really think about having a dining space. And then we have the kitchen, and again, it's a foodie sim, so the kitchen is on the larger side. And we have the bedroom here. Not a lot of clutter because it is a starter home, and you can't really put a lot of clutter in a base game house that is also a starter home. There just isn't enough to add to the houses in the game. So you got the bright sunny yellow bathroom here, then back out to the dining living room area, and we can take a peek at the backyard here. A little back like porch type area to sit and have drinks, and then there's your fluffy garden and space for vegetables and things. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.